hi. From today on, we're going to study brand new unit, Unit 9 together. What is the title of it? Well, the title of it is Friends Forever. Friends are friends forever. Yeah, so do you have many friends? Back in high school, I used to have lots of friends, but now we are all busy working and, we rarely keep in touch. So, I have lots of lost friends, long lost friends. How about you? There's a way with the advent of the technology, the internet, right? There's a way that you can find your long lost friend. Do you know classmate.com? classmate.com이라는 웹사이트 아시나요? It has been a very, very successful website in the US. Basically, what you do is you actually place your information on there, which school you went to, and 몇 학년 몇 반이었는지, and your middle school and high school, all the information about you. And then people can see, actually, on the website, the information about you that you placed there. And, they can find you if they're one of your friends in the past. Okay, so this is a basic idea of the classmates. Do we have that kind of website in Korea? Yeah, I love school, right? I love school이라는 웹사이트에 여러분 몇 학년 몇 반 어느 학교였는지 이렇게 치면 그게 또 이렇게 categorize가 돼요. 그래서 somebody who graduated from such and such elementary school in 1992. And then, you can find a group of people in there. And actually what you can get is their email address. And you can contact them by sending them emails. Isn't it really wonderful? Long time ago, it was next to impossible. But nowadays, with the advent of internet technology, it's possible. Wow. 굉장히 대단하죠. 이 technological advancement를 우리가 감사해야 될 것 같습니다. 거기에 대해서. Okay, so friends forever. Okay, 영원히 그 친구. 한 번 친구면 또 영원히 친구잖아요. 아주 오랫동안 헤어졌다 만나도 굉장히 반가운 게 친구죠. Okay? And what do you usually talk about with the friends from your high school or middle school? 옛날 중고등학교 같이 다녔었던 친구를 만나면 그때 그랬었잖아. 그때 너 생각나. 그 선생님 왜 터진만두 막 이러면서 얘기하잖아요, right? So in that case, you use a function used to and would a lot. So that is one of the focus of the lesson today. Okay? 습관을 얘기할 때, 습성을 얘기할 때 used to and would, 과거의 그 습관이라고 하면은 used to나 would를 써서 얘기할 수 있겠죠. How about your habit of the present? Well, you can use present progressive tense if it's really annoying. And you can use will, okay? And let me give you some examples of that. Okay, if it's like a present habit of yours, you can say, not yours. Let's not talk about your habit, but your friend's habit, because it's going to be something negative. Okay, so he is always snoring. Do you know someone who snores? Oh, it's really impossible to sleep next to that kind of person, right? He's always snoring. When be and ing, this is present progressive. When present progressive tense is used with always, that means habit. But it's, rather temporary and unknowing. So he's always snoring. It's really annoying. Okay, so this is what you want to mean by this. And, she will read some books. Okay, in this case, will means what? Will is her habit, okay? So 어떤 습성이나 그 습관 이런 것들을 얘기할 때 will로 얘기를 합니다. 그리고 비동사 플러스 ing 진행형이고 always랑 같이 쓰게 되면 이것은 약간 좀 정말 짜증나는 그런 habit이라는 거. Okay, when you want to talk about the habit of you in the past, I used to listen to the radio. Okay, used to here means what? 뭐뭐 하곤 했다. 과거의 습성을 얘기하는 것이겠죠? In this case, you can say would. 여기서 would라고 얘기할 수 있어요. 뭐뭐 하곤 했다. So, repeated action in the past can be expressed by using used to or would. Okay? So repeated action of the past. 과거의 반복적으로. So do you by any chance know the song by Carpenters? When I was young, I did listen to the radio, waiting for my favorite song. So I'd listen to the radio means I repeatedly listened to the radio when I was young, right? So I used to and would can be the same thing here, but if you want to distinguish the usage of this too, well, used to is more like factual, and would is more like nostalgic. So factual, 그냥 과거에 있는 사실을 얘기하는 것 같은 느낌이 used to고요. 그리고 would 같은 경우는 그러곤 했었었지. 약간 향수가 느껴지는 그런 느낌이에요. Even though they can be used interchangeably. Okay? And also you have to remember that there used to be a playground. 예전에 과거에 우리 같이 놀던데 이렇게 가다 보면 아파트가 크게 들어서고 막 there's like a high-rising building and you don't know if this was the place that you used to be. 예전에 있었던 그곳인가 여기가 이렇게 놀랄 정도로 막 그럴 때가 있죠. 과거의 상태를 나타낼 때 you can say like, oh, there used to be a playground around here. Do you remember that 떡볶이 아줌마? She used to sell her 떡볶이 in here and something like that, right? You can talk with your friends like that. In that case, used to be a playground. Okay. This sentence is actually expressing the past state. 과거의 상태를 얘기하고 있죠. 그럴 때는요, in this case, what you have to remember is you cannot use would here. 여기서는 would는 쓰면 안 돼요. Okay? So 과거에, if it's like a repeated action of the past, oh, of course you can use used to and would together, but when you want to talk about the state of the past, 과거의 상태에 대해서 얘기할 때는요, you shouldn't use would in this case. Okay? Only used to. 항상 used to만 여기서 사용을 해야 된다는 거 기억을 하시고요. Okay, now, good. 좋습니다. So, we're going to look at some of the emails on classmate.com. classmate.com을 통해서 이제 오게 된 그 이메일을 한번 보도록 할 텐데요. Why don't we fill in the blanks there? 거기 fill in the blanks 하면서 used to and when 이런 것들이 어떻게 쓰여졌는지 한번 보도록 하겠습니다. Well, if it's just a simple, past tense, that means something happened once in the past. Okay? 과거일 때는 과거에 그냥 딱 한 번 일어났던 거. 하지만 if it's like a repeated action, you have to say like used to or would를 써가지고 얘기를 하셔야 된다는 거예요. Okay, now let's listen. Listen이 아니고요. 같이 fill in the blanks 먼저 한 다음에 listen을 하도록 하죠. Okay, so why don't we go to number 2? Okay, number 2. 보시죠, 같이. Dear Sally, Sally에게. I'm sending this through classmate.com. Through classmate.com, I got your information and I am sending this. I found your email address there. 그런 뜻이죠. Do you remember me? We. To Springfield East together. Springfield East is a name of a school. So, 거기 같이 다니곤 했었지. It's not like they went there once. 한 번 갔다가 온 것이 아니라 왔다 갔다 for 3 years at least. They did that. So, it's like a repeated action. And what you have to put here is used to go, right? So, when it comes to number 1, 답이 돼 있네요. E, used to go. So, cross it out. E를 지우세요. Cross it out. And we used to go to Springfield East together. You were the first person to know when I started there. Okay, when I started there, okay, 학교에서 뭔가 그 새 학기 내지는 새 학년을 시작했을 때, when I started there, 1학년으로 입학했을 때 처음 알게 된 사람이다. Okay, get to know somebody is just, it should be like a past tense because it's an action of the past. 그냥 과거에 한 번 일어났었던 거죠. It just happened once. So if you know someone, 누군가를 알게 되면 그 다음부터 계속 알게 되는 거잖아요, right? So 계속 반복해서 잊어버렸다, 또 알게 되고, 잊어버렸다, 또 알게 되고, 잊어버렸다, 또 알게 되고. No. It's not the case, though. What you have to put here is just simple past tense, right? So I got to know, right? I got to know when I started there. We next to each other in class. class에서 옆에. We are kind of close friends and we sit next to each other. So what you have to put here is we used to sit, right? We used to sit next to each other in class, but then the teachers made us sit apart because we so much. Why? Because they were kind of a troublemaker. 그러니까 troublemaker였으니까 떨어져 했겠죠. 그죠? So what would be some kind of problem that they made? They were always giggling. You know what giggle is? 킥킥킥킥 거리면서 웃는 거야, right? So they were giggling. They were giggling so much. So what you have to put, number 4 is K. K is the answer. So because we were always giggling. See, it's kind of an annoying habit of theirs. And here, past progressive was used with always, right? always하고 past progressive가 같이 쓰였죠. 그러니까 과거에 선생님을 짜증나게 하는 그런 것을, temporarily 좀 단기간 가지고 있었다는 그런 느낌이 좀 듭니다. Okay? So, be and progressive는 annoying. and 좀 이렇게 짜증나고 단기간 어떤 습성을 가지고 있었을 때 그때 이야기를 할 수 있다는 거예요. I remember we back to your house after school every day. Every day, every day. So this is a repeated action. 매일매일 갔으니까 repeated action이죠. So what you have to put here is we would go, 가곤 했었다. We would go back to your house after school every day and listen to music for hours on end. 계속해서 음악을 들은 거죠. We, all the Beatles records as soon as they came out. So, Beatles record가 나왔을 때쯤이니까 it was like back in 60s or 70s? Well, I don't know. Okay. So, we would get, you have to put we would get all the Beatles records as soon as they came out. Once we ate all the food in your fridge, haha, 그 냉장고에 있는 거 다 먹었었나 봐요. 냉동실에 있는 거 다 먹어서. And your mother, furious. So, 여기서 blank에 들어갈 것은요. Okay, why don't you circle once there? once에다 동그라미 쳐보세요. once is 한 번 일어난 거잖아요. 그죠? It was not a repeated action or repeated state. So, what you have to put there is just a simple past tense. Can you find simple past tense that would fit in there? Well, number 7, your mother, she was furious. 어머니께서 화가 나셨어요. She was not just angry, but furious. 노발대발. Hit the ceiling. Okay? And do you remember the time we nearly blew up the science lab? Okay. 과거에 이제 그 속속 그 연결이 돼가지고 줄줄이 사탕으로 이제 과거의 기억들이 살아나는 거죠. The teacher, crazy. So, do you remember that time? It was kind of one time in the past. 과학실을 날려버릴 적한 그런 경험이 있어요. 그래서 the teacher, here, simple past tense. So, the teacher went crazy. 화나셨어요. Went crazy, but it wasn't our fault. Him, Mickey Mouse. Okay? Him is the teacher who got really furious about them, but it was not their fault. 잘못이 아니었대죠, 자기들의. 근데 이 선생님을 him, Mickey Mouse, because he had sticky out ears. So, sticky out ears is like 이렇게 쓴 귀를 가지고 있었기 때문에 그를 미키 마우스라고 부르곤 했었었지. 그랬었었지. We used to call him. You have to put used to here because they repeatedly call him Mickey Mouse, right? At that time. And I still see Penny. Penny might be one of their classmates, right? The classmates 중에 하나겠죠. And she's still as wild as ever. We meet up every now and then, and we kept chatting about old times together. So here, this is kind of the habit of the present. 지금 현재의 habit이잖아요. 그래서 우리는 항상 만나면은 이렇게 한다, right? So in this case, what you have to put is we will always end up chatting about. So we will always end up chatting about old times. 옛날 그때에 대해서 얘기를 하곤 하는 거죠. Okay? So here you have to put will, like this. So she will read some books. Okay? So it's not just a simple future, but it's about the habit of now, habit of the present. Okay. She then, and she, about a class reunion. Okay? And class reunion에 대해서 이제 얘기를 하는 거죠. About a class reunion. So she's always talking. You have to put it there. Maybe it's a little annoying. 항상 맨날 그 얘기야. 똑같은 얘기. Right? And so if you're interested, drop me a line. So 나한테 이메일을 다시 줘. Drop me a line means that, right? Looking forward to hearing from you, your old friend, Allison Wright. I'm not you, Sally Davis. To me, you're still Sally Wilkinson. Maybe she's married now, right? And her husband's name is Davis. husband의 이름이 Davis인 거죠. 근데 if there are high school friends from long time ago, maybe they're accustomed to calling her. Be accustomed to, be used to means 어디에 익숙해져 있다. So you're still Sally Wilkinson. 여전히 Sally Wilkinson인 것 같은데 I'm not used to calling. So here, don't get confused. Used to 다음에 동사 원형이 쓰면요. Used to and root means the repeated action of the past, right? But be used to ing is what? Be accustomed to ing. 무엇에 익숙해져 있다. So I'm not used to calling you. 너를 이렇게 부르는 거. Sally Davis. I'm not used to calling you Sally Davis. Because to me, you're still like Sally Wilkinson. 여전히 Sally Wilkinson 결혼하기 전에, 성 바꾸기 전에 그 Sally인 것 같아. 라는 그런 얘기가 되겠죠. Okay. 좋습니다. So, through this email, 이 이메일을 쭉 훑어보면서 we found out the usages of used to and would and simple past tense and be progressive and stuff like that to talk about the habit of people. Okay? Why don't we listen to this part together now?
Dear Sally, I'm sending this through classmates.com. Do you remember me? We used to go to Springfield East together. You were the first person I got to know when I started there. We used to sit next to each other in class, but then the teachers made us sit apart because we were always giggling so much. I remember we'd go back to your house after school every day and listen to music for hours on end. We'd get all the Beatles records as soon as they came out. Once we ate all the food in your fridge and your mother was furious. Do you remember that time we nearly blew up the science lab? The teacher went crazy, but it wasn't our fault. We used to call him Mickey Mouse because he had sticky-out ears. I still see Penny, and she's still as wild as ever. We meet up every now and then, and we'll always end up chatting about old times together. She's always talking about a class reunion, so if you're interested, drop me a line. Looking forward to hearing from you. Your old friend, Allison Wright. P.S. I'm not used to calling you Sally Davis. To me, you're still Sally Wilkinson.
Okay. So, 예전에 친구로부터 온 편지를 이렇게 쭉 보니까 여러분 친구도 생각나지 않으세요? Okay. 자, 이렇게요. When you talk about the habit of yours in the past, used to 이런 거 when 이렇게 쓰여진다. 그 다음에 과거에 어떤 temporary 하면서 약간 annoying habits를 얘기할 때 어떻게 쓰는지 이런 것들 다시 한번 좀 점검을 해보시면서 우리 몇 가지만 더 살펴보도록 할게요. Okay? My sister works in a bank. This is the present tense, right? So, my sister works in a bank. So, in other words, she's a banker, right? And can you change this into the past repeated pattern or past state? Well, my sister works in a bank is not an action. Don't get confused. It's more like a state. She is a banker라는 뜻이잖아요. 그죠? So in this case, if you want to change this to the past situation, well, you have to use used to, not would. Okay? So in this case, my sister used to work. So this is the state of the past. 과거의 상태잖아요. It's not the action. action이 아니에요. work는 action, verb 아닌가? That's right. But I told you. My sister works in a bank. 이것을 통해서 얘기하려고 하는 것은 she's a banker. 지금 상황을 얘기하려고 하는 거지 일하는 동작 자체가 포커스가 아닙니다. Okay? So in this case, you have to say, my sister used to work in a bank. Okay, 이렇게 쓰셔야 되겠죠. So, because this is like a state, you shouldn't say, my sister would work. Okay, that is strange. 이상해요. If it's not a real action, you want to express, well, it's really weird. Okay, and why don't we look at another example? Okay, she's always borrowing my clothes. She's always borrowing my clothes. 그녀는 항상 내 옷을 빌려가는 거예요. 근데 without asking me, let me put without here. Without asking me. She's always borrowing my clothes. See, present progressive is used with always. In this case, it's kind of an annoying habit. 짜증나는. 정말 싫은 그런 habit이 되겠죠. she가 누군지 모르지만요. She's always borrowing my clothes without asking me. Oh. In this case, I don't think borrowing is a proper verb here. borrowing보다는요. borrowing without asking me is almost like stealing, right? So she's always stealing my clothes. 이렇게 얘기해야 될 것 같네요. Anyway, she's always borrowing my clothes without asking me. So if you want to change this into the past tense, well, what you need to do is she was always borrowing my clothes without asking me. Okay? So by simply changing this present progressive to past progressive, you can talk about the past habit of she, past habit of her, whoever she is, a knowing habit of the person who steals these clothes. Okay? So she was always borrowing. 이렇게 바꿔주시면 되고요. 하나만 더 볼게요. She'll go out on Friday night and won't be back. She will go out. Will은 여기서 is it about the future? Future will인가요? She will go out on a Friday night. Friday night fever. No, Saturday night fever잖아요, 그죠? Okay, so maybe she has this Friday night fever, and that's why she cannot stay home. She has to go out on Friday, yay, and dance. And she will go out on Friday night and won't be back till morning. Won't be back till morning. Okay, so she had this Friday night fever. So this is kind of a present habit of hers. 지금 현재의 그 습성이죠. 현재 습성을 과거로 바꾸려면요. You can use both of these like used to. Okay? So she used to go out on a Friday night. And won't be back. How can you change won't be back? Well, in this case, why don't we change the simple, not used to, but word를 사용하죠? So she, 과거에 습성이니까요. So 과거로 사용하려면 she would go out on a Friday night. It's not like regular habit, but 그러곤 했었다, right? 과거에 more nostalgic, right? So she would go out on a Friday night and wouldn't be back till morning. Okay? So you can say this. So this is the past repeated action of this person. So you can say she would go out and wouldn't be back. Would be proper in this case. Okay? Okay. So that was the wrapping up. 한번 그 summary로 한번 해봤고요. Okay. Why don't we go to number 5? Number 5로 한번 넘어가 보도록 하겠습니다. 짠! 잠깐 쉬는 동안 제가 이렇게 판서를 미리 해놨거든요. So, 자, 우리 내용에 맞춰서 한번 연결해 보도록 하겠습니다. We used to go, 뭐뭐 학원 했었지. So, we used to go, what? We used to go go to school together. Yes. So, we used to go to school together. This is right. So, 아주 long lost friend죠. 오랫동안 잃어버렸던 친구였는데 우리 뭐뭐 학원 했었잖아 라고 기억을 상기시켜주는 거죠. Hey, we used to go to school together. Do you remember me? 나 기억나니? And if we go to the second one, we used to sit. Sit might be the keyword to find the rest part of this sentence. 뭐가 될까요? We used to sit next to each other, right? So we used to sit next to each other. And we were always giggling. This might have been really annoying to the teacher, right? 그래서 선생님이 떨어뜨렸다 했죠. So, were always giggling was used in this case. So, we were always giggling, what? So much. 너무 심하게. 그래서 선생님이 떨어져 앉아. Okay? So, you shouldn't sit next to each other. 너네 서로 옆에 앉지 마. 이렇게 얘기를 하셨겠죠. So, and would go back. 뭐뭐 하곤 했었었지. Okay. would가 쓰면 더 nostalgic 하다고 했습니다. 뭐뭐 하고는 과거의 규칙적인 습관을 얘기하지만 So we'd go back. Where? We'd go back to your house. We'd go back to your house. And eat some food in the fridge. 그래서 어머니가 막 화나셨다 그랬어요. She was so furious. 한때 딱 한 번 그런 적이 있었죠. 그래서 그때는 과거형이 쓰였었어요. We used to call the teacher, we used to call him Mickey Mouse. Why? Because of his pointed ear, his sticky ear, right? And I'm not used to. Here, be used to is different usage. 다른 쓰임이죠. Be used to는 어디에 익숙해져 있다. She used to use her name as Sally Wilkinson이었는데 because she married Mr. Davis. So her last name now changed to Davis, right? So I'm not used to calling you Sally Davis. Sally Davis로 부르는 거에 익숙하지 않다. 이렇게 하셔야 되겠죠? 오케이. 자, 그러면은 우리 전체적으로 이 부분을 쫙 들어볼까요? 자, 처음부터요. We used to go to school together. 따라해보세요. We used to go to school together. 오케이. 자, 이 부분 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
We used to go to school together.
See? We used to go to school together. You don't have to emphasize used to. We used to. No, we used to. 그냥 가볍게. We used to go to school together. How about the second one? We used to sit next to each other. We used to sit next to each other. Repeat after me. We used to sit next to each other.
We used to sit next to each other.
Good. Okay. 잘하셨어요. And number 3, we were always giggling. Okay, past progressive. We were always giggling so much. We were always giggling so much. 이거 들어볼까요?
We were always giggling so much.
Okay, 여러분도 한번 해보세요. We were always giggling so much. Okay, 잘하셨어요. We were always giggling so much. 낄낄낄낄 되는 거 있죠? Okay, and would go back to your house. 너희 집에 가곤 했었었지. 그랬었었지. 그때 정말 맛있었는데 냉장고에서 꺼내서 먹은 거. Okay, so we'd go back to your house. We'd go back to your house. 자, 들어볼까요?
We'd go back to your house.
So 여기서 we'd. 그래서 드가 강하지 않아요. Would go back. Would go back. When I was young, I'd listen. So, okay, you don't have to emphasize D here. So, we'd go back to your house. We'd go back to your house. Repeat after me. We'd go back to your house. Cool. And now we go to, we used to call him Mickey Mouse. We used to call him Mickey Mouse. 힘은 여기서 teacher였죠? 자, 이 부분 들어볼까요? We used to call him Mickey Mouse.
We used to call him Mickey Mouse.
Okay, used to. 가볍게요. 다시 한번요. 가볍게, we used to call him Mickey Mouse. 이제 여러분 차례예요. Good. Okay. 잘했어요. And 더 마지막 거요. The last one. I'm not used to calling you Sally Davis. I'm not used to calling you Sally Davis. I'm not used to calling you Sally Davis. 들어볼까요?
I'm not used to calling you Sally Davis.
I'm not used to calling you Sally Davis. 한번 해보세요. I'm not used to calling you Sally Davis. Okay, very, very good. 아주 잘하셨습니다. Okay, so used to and be used to 요거 두 가지 헷갈리시면 안 되고요. 이제 would는 약간 좀 노스탈직하지만 액션에 있어서 used to하고 과거의 repeated action으로 같이 쓰여질 수 있다라는 거 기억하시면 되겠습니다. Okay, that's it for today. 오늘은 여기서 마치도록 하겠습니다. Okay? And why don't you study the rest of the parts now? 그러니까 여기서 그 나머지 우리가 안 푼 부분을 여러분이 쭉 같이 한번 풀어보시고요. 한번 점검해보는 시간 가지셔도 좋을 것 같습니다. Okay, I'll be back next time. Thank you very much. Bye.